First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Rokah Kodash. Yahweh is to this world ignorantly caused God. Yahweh Shai is to this world ignorantly caused Jesus. Ba'Hashem means in the name, Rokah means spirit, and Kodash means holy. And that's on the Paleo Hebrew. I also want to give double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Today's video I wanted to talk about is the avian flu, the H5N2, right? The next pandemic is the avian flu, the next pandemic, right? The next ultimately virus that the elite are going to push upon the masses. Okay, and ultimately I'm just blowing the trumpet, right? Going into news, just staying on top of things, but this is highly suspicious, right? Super, super suspicious. First and foremost, the reason is because when you go into the history of what the bird flu is, right, they go into how this bird flu, it's never been recorded transferring to humans, right? But all of a sudden, the World Health Organization, the WHO, confirms first death in Mexico from bird flu never seen in humans. Huh. Another one. First ever human case of H5N2 bird flu reported in Mexico, right? Bird flu hits dairy herd in Iowa. First case of bird flu in Iowa, dairy herd detected, right? So here it is. It's infiltrating the food, right? The animals, which is ultimately infiltrating the food. Okay, so off the rip, right, you can see just how this is being pushed. This could be something catastrophic, right? And when you go into the simulations that they ran, I think it was 2023 or 2022, going into the simulations of the pandemics that were going to come, right? For example, for COVID 2020, there's a simulation in 2019 which literally, dot by dot, right? It literally detailed exactly what happened in 2020, right? They simulated it. Okay, and I think it was in 2021 or 2022, they ran another simulation going into how the next one that's coming, right? Even Bill Gates said the next one that's coming is going to get their attention. The simulation was going into how this had a 80% mortality rate. It was mainly targeting younger children, right? Young adults, okay, and it was leaving them paralyzed, right? Paraplegic. That's what the virus was doing. Okay, let me see if I can actually find that a video. It went into simulation CDC pandemic. Let me see. Right, it was called Event 201. Right, this was the one conducted on October 18th of 2019, and this literally when you go into the video of what it was talking about, right? Let's see if they still have the video on here. Right, this was literally talking about COVID. Right, they literally show you, man, before COVID even happened. Right, look at this, the coronavirus, and this was before COVID happened. Right, you search up when was COVID, December 2019, and that was the first case, and it went worldwide in March 11, 2020. This was in October 18th, 2019. So, funny enough, right? Funny enough, they did another one. And this other one was in October, same time, but in 2022. Okay, and it goes into, let's see if I can pull it. If I can find the video. Catastrophic contagion video. Right, this video goes into the same thing, but now it's talking about another virus. Right, and they say, of course, this is a fictional exercise that does not predict or depict any actual outbreak or response. But this is a whole lot of lies, right? How come the other one predicted what happened a couple months after? Okay, and this is hosted by who? The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, of course. But this is what I'm gonna just run a little bit of this.
SARS-25 is spreading within 50 countries. The total number of cases to
See, that's what it was called, is SARS-25.
date is estimated at 100,000, with over 1,300 deaths. Many of the dead are children.
Our goal today is to highlight some of the specific challenges that we as a global community poses that
I'm gonna
an
just skip through
international
because they
network
just yap a lot.
New enterovirus outbreak in Latin America.
In both countries,
Oh,
a newly developed
Just the severe.
The World Health Organization is receiving urgent requests for guidance regarding the new enterovirus outbreak in Latin America.
so we had a right. That was key.
Is receiving urgent requests for guidance regarding the new enterovirus outbreak in Latin America.
So he said the new enterovirus outbreak in Latin America. Right, I'm just pointing comparisons. First death in Mexico, Latin America. Let's see what else he said.
Early projections suggest that a severe pandemic is possible if the epidemic is not put.
to these two countries.
And closing schools and the effect.
Sears 25.
And this was the fictional date that they gave. November 20th, 2025. We are in June 5th, 2024. Yeah, that's all I'm saying, man.
It is now confirmed in 14 countries.
And I think it started before that, actually, with the first fictional date. I'll just keep going.
More than 8,700 confirmed cases and 155
Yeah,
deaths
9/10/2025.
reported worldwide. The pandemic corps believes that there may still be a window of opportunity before Sears 25 becomes a pandemic.
Information and disinformation that is now resulting in the deaths of many around the world.
And hear what they
Seeking
said.
your input on what WHO should recommend regarding misinformation and disinformation that is now resulting in the deaths of many around the world.
Many public health
Right, and
leaders
that's the key point he said, is that going into the misinformation, disinformation, right, it's causing a lot of deaths around the world because, hey, you have these people, right, that, hey, everybody's figured out that 2020 was pretty much a scam, right, the scamdemic, and how all that was planned, and there was not really a lot of people dying. Everybody got hip to that, right, and they think that the next one, that the next one is going to be the same exact way. Right, so what they're going to do is tell people, right, don't believe that they're saying those numbers are lies, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing as 2020. But what's really going to go down is that this next one is actually going to kill people, right? When you play the video, it says it has an 80% mortality rate, leaving people paraplegic, right? So all these people talking about it's not going to do anything, all that disinformation is actually going to get people killed, right? And this is ultimately, right, they're going to put that fear into people to just do whatever they want, right? That's ultimately how they work, is they put fear in people to make them just be compliant. But let's see what else he says.
are saying that misinformation about the potential vaccines on social media is undercutting trust in authorities and complicating their efforts to respond to the disease. Political
Right, and going into the vaccine, right? Whenever the next one is, don't take the fucking vaccine, right? You don't know what's in that. It's all experimental. Doesn't matter if it's gonna save you or not. Don't take it, right? Too many question marks, okay? And ultimately, you're not supposed to be changing your body, right? You're pretty much chemical makeup like that, okay? But like he's going into, there's a lot of people anti-vax, right? Anti-vax, and that's gonna get a lot of people killed.
leaders in San Rafael have not denounced the rumor.
Should WHO take a position on this issue? Should WHO recommend that countries implement any of these aggressive actions or others to try to stem the spread of either mis or disinformation? How far should governments be advised to go to try to handle this problem?
The WHO should be the repository of information, but not the executor of decisions about what should happen at a local level. Government should take responsibility. The government need to say the truth to the population first.
Since the last meeting. The Sears 25 pandemic has been ongoing for more than 6 months now. This is the fourth
And
meeting.
this is when the lady starts talking, right here.
It's been a year since the Sears 25 pandemic started. As of today, there have been an estimated 1 billion cases worldwide, with more than 20 million deaths, including nearly 15 million children. Countless millions are alive, but left with paralysis or brain damage. Victims and their families are facing extremely uncertain futures. After SARS, MERS, Zika, Ebola, and COVID, governments were not better prepared. As enterovirus E5 sweeps the globe, some countries have done better than others in controlling its spread. The most successful countries are those which invested in preparedness, and trained for this moment years in advance. This included having full-time pandemic preparedness and response teams, which conducted detailed operational planning and routinely tested those plans through exercises and drills. Leaders of these national-level professional teams were networked with each other in the Global Pandemic Core. Through this Pandemic Core network, public health leaders were able to collaborate in advance, share, and come to consensus around the best available scientific research and policy guidance, and therefore respond in more uniform ways in their respective countries.
Right. And that was a that was a simulation, right? The simulation they ran. So, with all that out the way, I just wanted to point that out how they're telling you another one is coming. Like, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Right? They also call it a disease X, right? Disease X. Disease X. What is it? Okay, when you go into this right here, it talks about how um, it's pretty much the disease X is like a hypothetical, which they go into how, oh, there's going to be a disease in the future that is going to do this and that. Let me see if I can find something more. Right, it's a placeholder concept that refers to a pandemic pathogen that has not yet been characterized. Right, so when you go into that, you have all these people talking about, oh, we have to prepare for disease X, right, for another virus. Okay, let's see what these people said here in Bangkok Post. um, yeah, same thing pretty much, but let's get a scripture before I bring out this news. This is Matthew chapter 24. And I'll start at verse 3. It says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, which we're seeing that right now, Israel, Palestine, Russia, Ukraine. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet, right? The end is not going to come, right? Going into those nuclear missiles hitting America, till the mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip, becomes mandatory. And it says, for nation shall rise up against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilences, diseases, and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay, and that's exactly what's going to come, right? Slowly but surely it's going to start manifesting itself. And as for the famine, hey, this could be a part of it, right? They come up with the agenda, right? With the agenda that, oh, the bird flu is in the dairy cows, so that means that everybody in this certain area of America, the Midwest, you can't drink milk, right? You can't eat a beef, okay? And they started pretty much bringing out these restrictions. They might actually take away all the meat and all the milk out of the superstores to so-called protect people. Okay, so that's one way you can bring in famine, and not even counting how all these chicken, pretty much these chicken coops, all these chicken manufacturing plants are just suddenly being destroyed, right? Spontaneous combustion, as they call it. Okay, it says pestilence is going into diseases. That's what we're seeing right here. Okay, let's actually click on this. Let's see what it says. NBC. And one thing about the news is that they give you exactly what they want you to see. Right? It's not a coincidence, right? That CNN, The Guardian, NBC, okay, all these news articles are talking about the WHO and the bird flu, first ever human case. That's not a coincidence, okay? The media is ultimately their way of controlling what the masses, the sheep, think, okay? It's just a tool. It's a medium, right? Medium. But this is it says 59-year-old human case infection, and it says he died on April 24th. Okay, and it wasn't until now, right? Literally today that they confirmed it, right? So, hey, they might come with that narrative. Oh, during that time where we're confirming it, right? He spread it to all these other people, and this guy's sick too, and too. It's gonna be the same. The next virus, if it's this one, is gonna be the same thing as when 2020 happened. How they talked about, oh, one guy, right? All of a sudden, randomly, literally, they were putting. I remember I was in high school on American news media. They were putting Chinese news, right? Chinese news going into how this guy has the bat virus and this and that. The first guy to get the bat virus in China. Who the hell gives a fuck, right? This is China. We're not hearing about all these Chinese people getting sick over there right now, right? But all of a sudden, we hear about this specific one, okay, on the news. Okay, and then you hear about another one. And then you hear about another one. Next thing you know, March, it's worldwide, right? We start pretty much lockdowns start happening. Okay, and it's gonna be the same way. It all starts with one, right? So another thing I found suspicious is that the U.S. has already, right, issued to make millions of bird flu vaccine this summer, huh? Right? How convenient, right? How convenient that they released this, right? What in J? Where are we at right now? When was this issued? I'm guessing May 31st, January, March, April, May, June. A couple days ago, it says that the U.S. to make millions of bird flu vaccine doses this summer as cases grow. But hold up, right? We just got told that the first death was literally today, right? And it wasn't confirmed till today. It happened April 21st, but confirmed today. And all of a sudden, the cases are growing. We have one guy that died. We need to make all these millions of bird flu vaccines. Huh, right? It says some 4.8 million doses of flu vaccine are now being prepared for use in response to the growing U.S. outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza. The order for the doses to be filled into vials comes as a Center for Disease Control and Prevention. And one thing about the CDC is that they have every single virus known to man in their facilities. Okay, this is actually it's truth, right? It's facts. They have every single virus known to man pretty much in their facilities. Okay, and they pretty much run tests on them day in and day out, right? Day in and day out. They actually, I think it was with the COVID, right? They actually gave it gain of function, right? They gave COVID pretty much more abilities. They made it more lethal. Okay, I think that's actually something going down right now. Right. The gain of function. And they were going into how, this is not what we were doing. But I think it was Fauci who literally today, he admitted that this was actually what was going on. Right, look at this one. Documents provide new evidence U.S. funded gain of function research in Wuhan, going into how they're making the viruses more deadlier. And ultimately, when you go into what is really going down, that's exactly what they're doing. Right? These viruses are not just popping up by coincidence. Right? They're doing it on purpose. Right? So, let's see what else they say here. The supplies will be pulled from a pre-pandemic stockpile. And that's about it. You can look into more of this or what's going on. But suspicious, right, how they're already pushing forth vaccines. And one person just died. Let's get the scriptures I was going into how the famine. So let's see what it says about the famine. In Revelation chapter 6 and verse 5 it says, the third seal, famine. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of oil of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Now when you go into different translations, it pretty much puts it in a better light, right? It gives you pretty much it gives you the actual breakdown of how much money it is. It's in the NLT it says, and I heard a voice from among the 4 living beings say, a loaf of wheat bread or 3 loaves of barley will cost a day's pay. And don't waste the oil, olive oil, and wine. So imagine that. Imagine going to your 9 to 5, right, working all these hours. Imagine these guys in construction, right, out in the sun all day. And that all those 8 hours they worked was only to buy a loaf of bread. Right, let's see. A loaf of wheat bread. Some fucking Wonder Bread too. Some Sara Lee bread. Some bullshit. Okay, that costs $1.97. That's how much it's gonna take. Right? That's how much inflation, okay, and how scarce things are gonna be. Right? For one piece of bread, a whole day's work. That's what things are gonna get to. Okay, and we could see how they could start pushing it ultimately with this right here. Right? It's gonna come from all different types of angles, but this could be one of the ways. Let's get a second Ezra 16 and go into how these things, they're not gonna stop. Right? The world is only gonna go into a spiral of chaos, and things are going to get worse and worse. There's no comeback for America. Right? There's no economy collapses and you invest and the economy comes back up and you're a millionaire. That's not gonna happen anymore. Right? The next time this shit collapses, it is done, man. Okay, they're gonna bring in their digital system, and from there it's downhill. But this is a second Ezra chapter 16 and verse 37. It says, "Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth great pains compass her womb. Which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side." Right, so it's going into the same way. Right, when a woman is pregnant, she starts having those labor pains, and it gets worse and worse till the child comes out. Is the same way these plagues are going to come upon the earth. Right, they're going to get worse and worse and worse and worse till that child comes out. Son of God, Yahweh Shai, comes back to destroy this place. Okay, so that's why it says in verse 40, "O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth." Right, so when this shit goes down, right, a time like never before seen, Jacob's trouble, right, we're gonna be out here on some pretty much on some horror movie type shit, right, on some purge type shit, right, just running around, surviving, right, not staying in one spot for too long, and just going on straight fate. Okay, that's what it's boiling down to. Okay, and the more you envision these scriptures, okay, and actually envision what's written, the harder you will go, because it'll put you in that mentality that, damn, this is the only thing that actually matters. Right? It says that silver and gold shall not be able to deliver you from the day of the Lord. Right? All this money is going to be worthless. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. Right, just pretty much going into this news article, right? Potential pandemic, and it's prudent to prepare for another flu outbreak and stay on point. So hopefully this is edifying with that and give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushai Ba'ashem, Rakak and double honors to the outer bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Shalom, Zilek, Shalom.